everyone. I'm so glad that you're here with me today to stretch just a little bit. So for our reach, roll, and release exercise recovery program, we will be covering active and isometric stretching. If you aren't familiar with those techniques, I'm so glad you're here. We're going to talk about them, go through a few, and just stretch out and have a good time. So if you are ready, then I would suggest that you find some sort of stretching strap for our isometric stretches. Today I just have a camp strap. It's just a nylon strap. You can get stretching straps at Walmart, sporting goods stores, really anywhere that they sell exercise equipment. Or you could just tie two socks together, grab a nice pair of pants, roll them up, use the legs as your strap. Just be creative, use whatever you have laying around. And don't worry if it's not perfect. If you have anything that you can wrap around your foot and still have something to hold on to, it's amazing. You've made yourself a stretching strap. For active stretching, we won't need any equipment. So just that stretching strap and a water bottle, and we will be all good to go. So as you gather those things, I'm going to just describe a little bit of what active stretching is, what does that mean, and what is isometric stretching, and why do we do those? So active stretching is, interestingly, a motion that you just hold. So an active stretch works on the relationship that our muscles have with one another. So one muscle is typically called an agonist, while the other is a protagonist. So they work in tandem, but against each other. So when you flex your bicep, for example, you're stretching your tricep because your tricep does the opposite. So the bicep bends your arm, the tricep straightens your arm. And all of the muscles in your body have other muscles that work against them. So whenever you flex one muscle, you're stretching the other. So we'll use that natural relationship to bring stretch into your muscles. So this one's really great because you can't hurt yourself. It's completely your own strength that is working to stretch the muscles. And also you're going to build strength as you do this because you're going to be holding these positions. It's maybe going to feel a little bit like a workout, which is not a bad thing. So it's not just going to be a super chill stretching session. We will get a little bit of a sweat on perhaps, depending how long and how hard you hold these for. And then our isometric stretches are going to be mostly band assisted, but instead of just holding a position like we did when we talked about static stretching, we'll hold a position and say I'm pulling against my toes with my band. I'll then use my toes to resist that pull. So I'll push against that band and it acts to like just contract the rest of that muscle. So say I was doing a stretch on my calves, which we will do later. So I would be pulling back on this band so that my toes come toward my face. But then because it's an isometric stretch for about 10 seconds, I'll push against that band and really engage that calf muscle. And then after 10 seconds, I'll release and I'll go deeper into this stretch. So this works because our muscles, when they contract, a muscle fiber can't contract part way. So you recruit different, they're called motor units, just groups of fibers to create more strength and more power. So with a little bit of resistance, you're only going to create flexion or tension in a few groups of fibers. But when we do this isometric stretching, we're going to engage more and more fibers. So the ones that are working will work harder. They'll recruit their friends to work with them. And then the ones that aren't recruited to work will still be squeezed and pulled by those groups around them that are working. So we just get a deeper stretch in more of our muscle fibers, and that will just expand our flexibility, our endurance, and our strength. So now that we know what our two types of stretching are, active and isometric, we'll get into a quick warm-up, and then we will start stretching. We'll do a few examples of both types of stretches. So this warm-up can be done either seated or standing. I will demonstrate both. So if our first one is arm circles. So you can do this seated or standing. It won't change the exercise. So you bring your arms up into a T position You want them to be just about parallel to the ground on the outsides of your body, reaching toward the opposite walls or just opposite sides if you're not in a standard room. And we will just start with forward motion. So I'm making small circles, bringing my hands to the front of my body, up and around behind, small circles. And as I go, I'm gonna make these circles just a little bit bigger. We're engaging more and more muscles in our rotator cuff, in our shoulders, and even in our arms. So keep going until you've reached your largest range of motion, whatever that is for you. Got 3 more seconds on this one, and then we will switch directions. So come back to that T position and begin with backward circles. Again, start small and get bigger as you are comfortable. Just feel that stretch. We don't want to go too fast. And 5 more seconds here. 3, 2, 1. All right, we can relax, bring those arms to your sides. Our next warm-up exercise is going to be a trunk twist. So I'm going to pick my arms up off my lap. My elbows are just gently bent. It doesn't really matter what you do with your arms as long as you're not going to smack yourself or anything around you. So I'm going to twist my body from the center to the right. So to do this, I turn my head and the top of my body, so the center of my chest I'm trying to turn to the right, while my hips stay square on the ground or my chair, wherever they are. If you're standing, your hips just need to stay square forward, which just means they're facing the screen. So twist to the right slowly, and then release. Twist to the left, bring that chest to point to the opposite wall. Just go back and forth slowly. We'll do this for about 30 seconds. While we do this, we don't want to go fast and get momentum going. We'll have less work in our abs and all the muscles that we're warming up here if we go fast. Momentum is not really your friend on a warm-up. 10 more seconds of twists. Okay, come to center. Our next exercise is going to be a trunk rotation. So if you're seated, you'll just lean forward in front of you, bring your trunk over to the right side as far as you can, lean back as far as you can to the left and forward, and you can just make these circles as much range of motion as you can. If you are standing today, my head's gonna get cut off, but that's okay. Then we will push our hips out to the left and then let our head drop slightly to the right. And then push our hips back, bring our body forward, push our hips to the right and our head to the left, push our hips forward and our head back, and just do circles. So your head makes the opposite motion of your hips. Got 5 more seconds here. If you're losing your balance, you can feel free to grab onto a chair or a wall. You can also make your stance a little wider and switch directions. So rotate the opposite way. Ten more seconds. Then we will do some knee raises. Okay, so if you're standing for a knee raise, you might want to grab onto something for balance, or you can just stand on one leg, and we're going to lift one knee up to our chest as high as you can, slowly, and then lower it back down to the ground. You're going to do 10 to 15 on each leg, whatever you're comfortable with. If you are seated on a chair, it'll be a similar motion. Just if you're able, pick that knee up to your chest and gently lower it to the floor. Again, 15 on each leg. If you don't have any motion in your legs, or your legs are feeling really weak today, then you're able to just grab under your knee with your hands and pull your knee up to your chest with your arms. Go as far as you're able. Just pull that knee up. If you are seated on the floor, this one can just be done with, in your seated position, have your legs straight out in front of you. And then slide one heel along the ground. Pull the knee up as close as you can. Get your heel as close to that butt as you can. And slide. And then we'll switch to the other leg, so 15. 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 5 more, 11, 12, 13, 14, and 15. Our next is going to be a variation of Florida Sky. So if you are seated, then I'll have you do a forward fold, reach towards your toes, then lean back, reach up toward the sky, forward, touch your toes, and back up to the sky. So it's just a fluid motion, as smooth as you can. Don't go crazy fast. If you are seated in your chair, then you will sit here, and it will just be floor to the sky. So reach to the floor, then straighten up, reach to the sky, reach to the floor. If you are standing, it will be similar. So you'll reach toward your toes, and then bring your arms up in front of you, reaching to the sky, almost like you're doing the wave. Then you'll come back up, reach down. We will do 10 here. So reach down to the floor and up to the sky, down to the floor, up to the sky. 5 more. Last one. And reach. Excellent work. And our last form of exercise will be neck circles. So whether you're seated, standing, on a chair, whatever it is, we're just going to lean our right ear to our right shoulder, lean our head back, pushing our chin to the ceiling, left ear to left shoulder, chin to our chest, and just do those neck circles. Go one way for about 15 seconds, and then we will switch directions. It's time to get into our stretching. Go as slow or as fast as you want. Just notice if your neck is tight, switch directions. If your neck is tight, it's great. Well, it's not great, but we're going to stretch it later. So hopefully we'll release that tension, or at least work it out a little bit. 5 more seconds. And come back to center. So our first stretch that we are going to do, we'll start from our legs and go up through our body. So our first is an active stretch, which again, that means that we're going to hold a position using the opposite interaction of our muscles to stretch each other. So this first one is going to be a straight leg extension or leg raise. So if you are on the ground, have your legs out in front of you. You can put your hands on the ground behind your back for a little bit of support. And then you will just lift one leg in the air. So I'm going to start with my right leg. I have my leg lifted about 2 feet off the ground, but go to whatever your range of motion is. If you can lift it 3 feet off the ground, great. If you can lift it 6 inches off the ground, awesome. We just want our legs straight. You'll really flex this quad to hold this up. So when you flex your quad, you're helping to release your hamstrings a little bit. And so hold that up. If you are seated in a chair, it will be a similar motion. So just straighten that leg in front of you. So I have my bottom of my foot pointed toward my screen. You can see it from the side view here. I just lift my leg off that chair. The other leg stays firmly planted on the ground. If you are feeling a little bit of weakness today, you can take that stretching band, put it around the arch of your foot or just across the ball of your foot, and then just gently lift that leg straight. You don't have to do anything crazy, bringing it too high up. Just let it be straight, and that motion will work on those muscles for you. If you are standing completely, again, you can grab onto something for balance if you need. Otherwise, lift your leg up as far as you can, Again, I'm pointing the bottom of my foot in front of me, so my toes are pointing up toward the sky. And as high as you can, we're gonna hold it here. All right, so if you are ready, we're gonna start with that right leg. We're going to just lift it up into the air, hold on, and we're gonna hold for 15 seconds. We'll do this twice. 10 seconds left. Just keep those legs as straight as you possibly can. And relax. And stand, you can shake it out. We're gonna start again in about 5 seconds. So we'll do that same lift with the same leg. And 3, 2, 1, lift. See if you can get a little higher, really work yourself. Try to keep your back as straight as you can as you lift. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. We're gonna do our left leg now. I'll show this one seated. So if you are ready, pick up that left leg straight in front of you. Get that heel out, pushing toward that screen or wall or whatever is in front of you. Hold that leg nice and tight. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. 5 seconds, we'll do one more. I'll show this one from the ground. And pick that leg up. Tighten it as much as you can, get it nice and straight. If you notice your knee bending, that's okay. Just try to tighten it more. You might need to drop your leg slightly lower to do that. That is okay. And 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent work. So our next stretch is going to be an isometric stretch. It will be legs again. This one's going to focus on our calves and our hamstrings. So as it is an isometric stretch, grab that band so we have some resistance to work against. And then choose which leg you're going to start with. I'll start with my right leg. So I'm going to place this band across the toes of my foot. So just above the ball of my foot, under my big toe mostly. If you have a thicker band, have it right across your toes. It'll help you grip. If you have a thinner band, that's okay. You might just have to curl your toes a little bit. I've curled my toes, if you can see, just around that band so that it holds on. And for this stretch, if you are on the ground, you're going to lay all the way back on the floor, lift that leg straight in the air, and then I'm going to adjust the camera so that you can see this a little bit better. So I lift that leg in the air. My foot is flat. My band is pulling my toes down toward my face almost. So I'm bending my elbows and pulling down on that band. And then for this stretch, I'm going to push with my toes up toward the ceiling while I pull down on that strap. So this is just flexing my calves, pushing against that band. We'll hold that and then we'll relax. We'll get into that in a second. If you are seated, then this will be a similar move where you strap that band right around your toes, pick your leg up in a straight position, and then you'll pull that band back towards your hip with your hands and push your toes forward in front of you. If you aren't able to push your toes forward, that's okay. You're still getting a great stretch in your calf. So we'll start here. You're going to get that band ready. I'll start on my right leg. Do 2 rounds of 15 seconds and begin. So pull those toes and push against that strap. And I'll hold here for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Keep holding that strap, but relax. Allow those toes to come back towards your face for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And now push against that strap one more time. Pushing as hard as you can. And 3, 2, 1. Stop pushing. Allow that muscle to just stretch out. Bring your toes toward your face. And 3, 2, 1. And you can relax that leg. We'll do that one more time, starting about 10 seconds. So if you want to lift that leg back up, get those toes ready, pull them towards your face, and push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, pull those toes towards your face, and push for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Pull those toes towards your face for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Move that strap onto the other side. I'll show this from the ground. All right, so get that strap ready. Pull it right around the ball of your foot. Lean back and pick that leg up overhead with that strap around your toes. Now pull that strap down toward your face or toward your hips and push against it for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, let those toes drop. Pull them toward your face for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Push against that strap one more time. Pointing those toes. 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax that last time. Pull those toes down towards your face for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. And relax. Bring that leg to the ground. Got one more set on this leg. We'll get started in about 10 seconds. Situate that strap any way you need. And pick that leg up to the ground, up from the ground. Pull those toes toward your face and push against that strap. Try to point those toes. Work as hard as you can, but don't let it happen. And 3, 2, 1, and relax. Pull those toes toward your face. Feels kind of weird to have this little fight with yourself, but I promise this is a great way to stretch. And now push against that band. Try to point those toes. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Pull those toes towards your face. 3, 2, 1. Excellent. Come back up to a seated position. You can drop that leg to the floor if you are seated already. Our next stretch will be active, and this is going to target our lower back. And we're going to do that by basically holding a crunch with our abs. So to engage your core, you'll imagine that you're pulling your belly button tight into your spine. I'll turn this way so you can see just a little bit of what this will look like. So I'm pulling my belly button in, and I'm coming into just a slight C position with my back. So my head is now pointing. I'm facing toward the floor just slightly. And pull those abs in. Remember to breathe here. So we're going to start, and we'll hold for 15 seconds, go off, and then start again. So breathe, get a nice big breath. Pull those abs, engage your core, and lean forward into this active stretch. Tighten those abs. And 3, 2, 1. Relax and sit up. Got about 10 more seconds, and then we will move into round 2. So sit straight up, get ready. All right, and then engage that core. Bend forward just slightly. Crunch in as tight as you can. If it helps, bring your hands to your head to imagine that crunch. That's totally okay. Breathe. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, Hopefully your lower back is feeling a little bit flexible now. If you have any sorts of lower back pain, that's a really good one to do. It's just gentle, like I said, because we're not using any weight or resistance, you won't hurt yourself because it's just the strength of your own muscles. So our next stretch will be for our triceps, and this will be isometric. So we don't need our band though for this. What you're going to do is lift your right arm up like you're trying to touch the sky. Bend your elbow like you're going to scratch your back. So my palm is facing my back, just resting right in the middle. And then I'll take my left hand, reach it over top of my head, and grab onto my right elbow. So you could just sit here and enjoy this stretch, but because it is an isometric stretch, we're going to pull on your elbow with your left hand, but then with that right elbow, try to push it back to your side. So I'm pulling with my left hand, trying to get my elbow to go behind my head, and with my right arm, I'm like, no, don't let it go that way. So I'm pushing away from that hand. I'll do this for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax, keep that arm up there. Just allow whatever gentle pull that you have going on with your left hand to just happen. Let the elbow fall. And we're going to engage again in about 5 seconds. So now we're going to push with that right elbow against that left hand. In 3, 2, 1, and push against it. Fight that motion. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Now, if you don't have the range of motion to do what I just did there, then you can put your elbow just across your chest. So I have my right hand kind of tucking into my armpit almost. Then I take my left hand onto the elbow that's just in front of me, pointing toward the screen, and I can pull across my chest with that left hand. So I'm pulling my elbow, trying to tuck that hand further and further under my armpit. But with my right hand, I'm resisting that motion. So if that's comfortable for you, then please do that stretch. If not, you can just kick that elbow back behind you. We won't do an isometric version, but if you just need a stretch, then you can just kick that arm out. And this one is actually more of an isometric bicep stretch because we're engaging that tricep on the back of our arm to keep it straight, and our bicep is stretching. So that's just another stretch that you could do for your triceps. But now we're going to move on to the left arm. Again, if you're able, reach that left hand up above your head, drop the hand down like you're trying to scratch your back. Reach over with your right hand, grab that left elbow, and pull against that elbow with your right hand while you push against the right hand with your left elbow. 15 seconds here, and 3, 2, 1, and relax. So just allow that hand to do exactly what it wants to and pull that elbow behind your head. And we've got 5 more seconds here. So pull against that hand, stretching that tricep. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Excellent job. Our next stretch will be for our rhomboids and our shoulders. So the big muscles up between our shoulder blades and in our rotator cuff. So to do that, we're going to pretend that we're giving ourselves a big hug, but we're not going to touch ourselves. So I have my left hand across my body, my elbow is bent in front of me, and my left hand is hovering just a few centimeters above my shoulder. My right hand is crossing to the left side of my body, so my right hand is kind of reaching under my left armpit. Both my elbows are facing forward, and I'm going to just reach, trying to get that right hand further under the armpit, that left hand further over my shoulder, and I'm pulling those shoulder blades together so that my upper back and shoulders are stretching, and push against, for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1, and relax. Shake those out. Now I'm going to have my right hand on top, reaching over my left shoulder, and my left hand underneath, reaching under my right armpit. Those elbows are out in front. I'm pushing those elbows forward, trying to tighten my hug as tight as I can. Push those arms over my shoulders and under my armpits. And hold for 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Shake that out. We're going to do the opposite motion now. So we'll be stretching our chest and our pectoral muscles. And so the way that we're going to do that is by pushing both of our hands out behind us. Our arms are straight and our palms are facing one another. So you can see how my arms are. They're just kicking out behind me. And I have my hands, palms facing each other. I'm going to slightly bend my shoulders back so that my chest pushes forward. And I'm going to attempt to clap behind my back. Just by pulling those palms together. My hands are still about a foot apart. Your hands might be closer if you're super flexible. So just push those hands together. Keep those arms straight for 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Shake those arms out. We're going to move back into that in 5 seconds. Get those arms kicked out behind you and squeeze those palms together. Push that chest out. You can lean your head back if it feels good. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. So our last area that we are going to stretch today is our neck. To do this, we will lean our right ear toward our right shoulder. Keep those shoulders dropped away from the ears. We don't want to bring our shoulder up to our ear. It's going to cause tightness and pain. So leave it dropped. Then we'll take our right hand, place it on the top of our head. So my hand is resting so that my fingers are just about touching the top of my ear. I'm facing forward in front of me. I don't want my chin to go to the ceiling or to my chest. And then I will pull my head down toward my shoulder. Again, keep both of those shoulders dropped. So as you bend your neck, to the right, your left shoulder will have the tendency to try and creep right up. Don't let it push down to the ground. Drop that right shoulder away from the right ear. And as you pull with your hand, you're going to push against your hand with your head. So just that gentle push, counteracting that motion. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Keep that ear falling toward your shoulder. You can drop your arm to the side or leave it on top of your head, whatever's comfortable for you. And then reach that hand back up if you put it down. And we're going to pull one more time. So pull against that head, push against the hand. Don't let your head come any lower. You're trying to straighten your head out. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Now we'll do the other side. So drop that left ear to the left shoulder. Again, keep both shoulders down as much as you can. Reach that left hand up so we're almost touching that right ear on our head. Pull down with that left hand on our head and then push against it with your head. Try to straighten your head up. And 10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Let that left ear continue to drop to the left shoulder. Again, keeping those shoulders down. About 5 seconds, and then we'll start pulling again with our hand. So get that hand up there. Pull with your left hand to bring your ear toward your left shoulder, and then push against that hand with your neck. Try to straighten your head out. And 5, 4, 3, 2, 1. Relax. Let the head come to center. Excellent work. So I'm so glad that you made it this far with me. If you have any questions, please feel free to email Adaptive Adventures, info@adaptiveadventures.org, and we will be happy to get back to you, answer any questions you might have about stretching or any of our recovery series. So if you have questions about meditation, progressive muscle relaxation, static stretching, band-assisted stretching, isometric and active stretching like we talked about today, or any sort of self-massage or tissue work, please just let us know. We'd be happy to connect you with some resources.